I'd like to thank everybody for coming today. I know how busy your schedules are and how precious the time is, but this is extremely important to me. We're talking about protecting freedom of children. I know how important they are to you. I know how important the schools are to you. So we have a very interesting program today. That will give you suggestions on how to increase security in the schools. I know the question always is, well, how about giving us some money? Unfortunately, I didn't bring any with me today to give to you, but by implementing some of the suggestions that we give out today, it's very possible that we'll be eligible for grants in the future. So I'd like to first start out by thanking the Shy School, particularly Rabbi Eisman, for making the school available to us. We really appreciate this, having some place in Lakewood where we can all go that's convenient to all of us. I'd also like to thank the members of Homeland Security. Director McKenna is here, and he's going to speak shortly, as well as Drew Lee. They came here today especially to be part of this presentation, and in the future we're going to have another presentation down the road where Homeland Security will actually bring in personnel to present additional topics, and we thank them very much for being here. Also, we have Chief Carter from HAL with us. We have Mayor Miller, who is going to speak very shortly, and we have Shragi Pinter from LCSW. So all of us combined are here to welcome you, and we hope you enjoy this presentation. So without further ado, Mayor Miller, unfortunately, his schedule is very pressing, so I'm going to come up and say a few words and welcome you also.
Thank you very much, Chief. Good morning. As we all know, there are two elected bodies in government here in Lakewood Township. We have that of the Board of Ed and that of the Lakewood Municipal Township Committee. The Board of Ed is the elected board that you speak to regarding budget transportation, various things regarding schools, curriculum, etc., secular studies. When it comes to other areas of government, such as we know, garbage pickup or police department, that's where you interact with the local board of government, which is the Township Committee. Many schools have reached out to the Lakewood Police Department, the Lakewood Township Committee, with regard to assistance in putting together a security plan. The reason for that is, first of all, some schools now are having that their insurance company is requiring and requesting that they have such a plan in place. We all know that to call down a security consultant is going to cost you a $8 billion to come down and make the whole thing, the presentation, etc. And that's money that our private license, our private schools don't have. The Lakewood Police Department stepped forward, stepped up to the plate, and together with Officer Rob DeSimone, has been working with many schools here that are here today and putting together comprehensive plans that they're able to utilize for their presentations, both for their insurance company and also for applying for grants. Some of you actually already have a booklet. I see Paris Yaakov there, Rosensky already has a booklet. Keep in mind, Rob DeSimone doesn't speak Hebrew yet, so when you email him your logo, and it said, like, Paris Yaakov almost has Paris Torah, and so it's important to write in English what exactly, which school you sent the logo in for, so when they put it onto your publication, onto your booklet, it should be precise and you'll be able to then send it in and hopefully you should be able to get some grant money out of it. Homeland security and security in general isn't something, especially us within the Orthodox community, isn't something we've come to terms with so recently, and it's something that as time progresses, I'll never forget this, 7 years ago, I took a walk with Homeland Security. I was brand new, fresh in office, and we took a walk into BMG parking lot, and they said, they took a look over there, and they looked at all the cars in the parking lot, and they said, is this your parking lot? I said, no, this is the parking lot for the school. So what about those cars that are blocking in, those cars that are blocking in those cars? He said, oh, no, that's not a big deal. Well, the doors are open. The doors are open? Oh my goodness. I said, well, that's what I get in, because I leave the keys in the ignition. Keys in the ignition? They just totally, it was something so eye-opening to them. At the same time, it was certainly an educational point for us that, hey, we've got to wake up to reality of the 21st century. Unfortunately, look at this PSC, look at Epilepsy, etc. Things are going on. We know that within our Orthodox community itself, we certainly have to start making a we have to make inroads with security and security analysts and figuring out where to go from there. At this time, I'm going to turn it back to the Chief, but I wanted to thank immensely Lakewood Police Department for the last minute notice. How many times the schools called up and said, I need a comprehensive plan put together, and Chief Lawson says, okay, when can we schedule this? I need it tomorrow. And immediately, I know sometimes Rob DeSimone drops what he's doing, runs down to the school, and really helps out. So I really do want to thank the police department. I know you guys have been doing other things, but at the same point in time, you've constantly and consistently pulled through for the schools and whatever's necessary. And we thank you for that. Thank LCSW for the work that they do. And we thank Homeland Security and Howell for being here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor Miller. I was remiss in not introducing Dave Leonardis, also from Homeland Security here. Right now, I'm going to introduce Director Charles McKenna from the Division of Homeland Security. He is going to address us and say a few words. Director.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. I think it's really heartening when we actually can have a gathering like this and we have a bunch of people, a bunch of folks and a bunch of leaders of the community who are really engaged in what is going on and understand how important security is. Our schools, especially religious schools, are really soft targets for people who want to do harm to what is our most precious natural resource, our children. And we have to do as much as we can to make sure that our schools are safe without turning them into armed camps, so that our children don't become so afraid of life and so paranoid about things. But we have to find a balance between prudence and paranoia, and we have to make sure that our children are safe. Unfortunately, we've seen, as recently as last week, in Bergen and Passaic counties, that the Jewish community in particular can be the target for people who want to either spread some message of hate or actually do physical harm to people. And so I think perhaps the Jewish community, the Orthodox Jewish community, more than other communities, is somewhat at risk and has to make sure that you are doing everything possible to make sure that you're safe. And really, in Homeland Security, what I want to preach is I want to preach deterrence. We have to stop these things before they happen, because once they happen, it's just too late.